Hey now, cats, we're back again this week on Movie Snobs. What is Movie Snobs? I am Balls. This is my ride or die, my main motherfucker, my man 50 grand, one of my favorite fucking people in the entire fucking universe, Matt Wheels O'Nesty. And
How are you
we do a
doing?
little show where, he's, and more of a pretentious dude that likes art house films. I'm a dude that likes the bottom of the barrel schlock, low budget garbage. In fact, it's what I live and breathe. And we got this idea one day that I'm gonna make him watch something that he would never fucking watch. He's gonna make me something that I would never watch. And guess what? We learn, we grow, and a lot of the time, believe it or fucking not, we actually kind of like each other's shit.
Oh,
In fact, I would go so far as to say that I can't even picture some of the stuff that I've watched to this point. I can't believe I've never seen it or felt it or loved it like I do. So it's been quite a great experiment. I can't think of somebody that I would rather do this with than this dude right here.
it's the
Longest
beauty of
motherfucker.
movies. It's making us better people.
It is. And I mean, whether you want to admit it or not, we are, judged and defined by the things we like. So this week, we're going to pit one of my favorite fucking cheese fests in the entire universe versus the 1990 Akira Kurosawa film Dreams. And Wheels, buddy, I'm going to let you take the reins here, and we're going to
Let's
start out with a little American classic I like to call Psycho Cop Returns.
let's kick this off. This might be or we normally get to the end. This might be my new favorite double feature we've ever put
Are
together.
you
If
serious?
you decide that you want to take on this double feature, regardless of what I say or what Ball says when it's his turn, just my only recommendation, do all of the drugs that you have in your house. Every single one of them. Empty the cabinets, my friend, because this is it. This is the double feature. So with that being said, Balls gave me Psycho Cop Returns, the type of movie that you can just start on the second one and immediately understand everything that's gone on in the past. This shit was wild. Here's what I'm gonna say. I'm so happy I started doing a letterbox, but I hate letterbox because like star ratings will make you think that you didn't like a movie. Um, my star rating does not match my feelings around this movie. It's just because of like it's a fucking crazy trash. This balls. I think this is the first time you've ever given me a movie where I've gone. This is the definition of a trash movie. This is the fucking trashiest goddamn movie. Like it's not even like we you showed me some trauma stuff. Like this, I like I try what's and again it's good. I was so fucking high on edibles watching this movie.
Well, that's what you're supposed to
It
do.
was perfect. And
That's what you do with trash movies. You
I'm
got to get
so
good
high
and
on
fucked
edibles.
up.
I bought a one hitter, I'm a couple one hitters deep, and I'm watching this movie like I normally do, trying so hard to find something beneath the surface. Trying every bit, every time I see just trying something below, and there was not. And you know
No.
what? It was fucking fine. It was so goddamn like it is seriously the horniest and the most violent movie I think you have shown me. I'm watching the uncut version. Remember, spoilers. We're gonna have spoilers all over this episode. Watch the movies first, or if you have no memory, it's fine. But corniest goddamn movie. But seriously, the fun like there was weirdly good visual directing and visual storytelling. Like the fake out when Psycho Cop, it's Bob Vance from Office for Office Friends.
Robert
I
Ray
couldn't get
Schaefer
over
for
it, but it was fun.
Mr.
Like
Nasty.
he was so like when he's walking down the hallway and it kept intercutting to those people who just kept trying to fuck the entire movie. Like they just kept trying to find like a safe place in this office to fuck. Like how it kept intercutting between them. I'm like, okay, he's gonna go in there and he's gonna chop them all the fuck up. And then the other girl comes in. I'm like, it's a fake out.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that dude because that dude Riff Coogan, he actually what do you call it? He actually went on to do like big work and like serious
Oh, I
filmmaking.
could tell, dude. Okay, because one of the other things that blew my mind from that movie is like there was this really consistent, like it would show an object, like it would show an object very like prominently. It showed the spear on the statue. It showed like they showed the axe, and then like then a couple cuts would happen, and then like one of the characters would walk by where that thing was spatially, and that object wouldn't be the forefront of where the framing is, but you could see that that object was all of a sudden missing. And I thought that was really, really, really awesome. Like just use of it, like it was totally giving away what was going to happen next. But I really, really enjoyed, like especially the spear one. I thought the spear one was sweet. Because
Well,
it
and honestly, that's why I wanted to make sure that you watched the uncut one because they actually cut out a lot of that funny stuff. Like that's completely truncated. Like if you watch the R-rated one,
That's wild. I figured the stuff that was cut out was the full penetration. I thought that would be the thing that would be taken out of the normal one. Was that
dude,
in
there's
it?
when you watch the truncated one, there's probably 11 minutes missing.
That's insane.
It's
That's
like an
actually
80. It's like an eight. Oh wait, it's like 78-minute long movie if you watch the cut one.
I mean, I get it. It is an unbelievably trashy film, and you're going to look at it and be like, wait, we don't need this long of a scene with them at a stag party getting humped. We just, the stag party scene went on for so long, and it got hornier and hornier. And it's like, what is happening here?
But let me ask you this, because this is the first time since we've been doing this show that I normally like to give you things that I think you probably haven't seen yet. And I also like to give you things that I think actually do have like an underlying meaning. This is the first film I ever give you where the whole purpose was just get fucked up and have fun with it. And that's it. Like that's so if you had fun with it, mission accomplished.
I think the only underlying message I could find in it is the top line of my letterbox review now is I really like the idea to see police brutality happening on yuppie corporate pricks.
Well, it's funny
Um,
because that was a big at the time when that movie came out. The Rodney King thing was very, very
it's
fresh.
I was going to ask you about that, and I forgot to Google it because I know I can just answer these questions.
There's actually, believe it or not, a really good documentary about the behind the scenes of that, and they explain that in depth of how
Because
that was
when the
their
guy came
take.
out with the camera and they
Yeah,
were beating up the cop, and it was like literally a reverse of the Rodney King.
yes, that was their
All I could think
take
about was
on
like
Rodney
this had
King.
to be right after Rodney King.
It
There's no
was, dude. It was
way.
fresh. Like that movie came out directly after that, and that was their take on the whole Rodney King
And
thing.
I would do. I'm not gonna lie. Like I wish it would happen more often. I wish
So
people
do
would
I.
see police brutality and they get their bike, go get your pull cues, and then they go stop it, and everyone cut because look, and you saw it brought the community together. Everybody was happy and
Yep.
laughing, and they were protecting each other. It was, I mean, that if there's one underlying message you can find in there, I'm not going to say the next part out loud because we'll get kicked off of YouTube.
But in closing, though, like I wanted to, I'm glad you watched this because I actually just interviewed Psycho Cop himself, Robert Ray Schaefer, and he actually dropped a bombshell, like an exclusive on my show about the future of that series. Psycho Cop 3 is in the works, and it's happening very
Tell
soon.
me it's gonna be him dressed up as a fucking when he came out as like with the scrubs on and the doctor stuff on, all I could think of was, oh my God, the next one has to be him pretending to be a fucking a doctor.
No, but like it's funny because he explains the whole premise because he wants to write it and direct it, and he's coming back as Psycho Cop. And when you hear the premise, it makes total sense. And I'm like, ooh, because like I'm like, how are they even gonna do that? But like here, I'll give you the quick Cliff Notes version
Give
before
the
we
quick,
move
but then
on.
you got to go watch the rest of the interview on balls
Ah, you know
on.
what? Just watch the interview. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. Fuck that.
yeah.
I'm not giving up the good
We don't
show.
give sweet. We give Liz a little, just enough to get you to the next
Oh,
video.
did that tickle your teeth a little? Well, make sure you check.
But
Make sure
I
you
don't
watch
know, like
it.
the final words on that movie, like it was so campy, it was so ridiculous. It was like, geez, the lines, the dialogue, like everything was so over exaggerated. Even the acting, the music did not match anything. The
Did you
music,
like seeing Julie Strain prance around though? That's pretty nice
oh
too.
my God, like just titties everywhere, titties and butts and just no wieners at all. The last thing I'll
You say
say.
that like you're disappointed.
I want I like to things to be even out. I think you gotta have can't have one without
For
the
every
other.
titty, you got to have a nut.
For every titty, the two titty, one nut rule. And also final word on it. I liked how it abused the final girl trope and it turned the office girl into the final girl, but then turns out there's another final girl, and it's the bitch boy from The Office, who is just not Bob, not the show The Office, but the other guy, the other corporate asshole from The Office, who was just fucking complaining the entire goddamn movie. I wanted him to die more than anyone in this entire movie. And
Well, he almost did. He
he
got an axe in the
wouldn't
back.
fucking die. He got an axe. I was so pissed when he got the axe in the back. I was like, yes, this fucking bitch is finally
Dude, the
dead.
best is after he axes him back down, there's that second where he pauses, and then he's just like, ah!
But yeah, dude, that was a
Wow, that's a way more positive review than I was expecting.
listen, no, like it, trust me, it was a trash fucking movie. My star rating on
I just happen to love
Letterboxd
trash films, though.
is for a reason. But remember, sometimes you can give something a 2 star or 2.5 star, and it doesn't mean that you hate the movie. It just that's not, I mean, for what it was, like I'm gonna give more, I give more stars if there's something else going on beneath the surface. This is a fun movie just to fucking throw on, get ripped, and see what happens. And now, balls, I am so curious. What
Oh, is
did
it killing you? Is it?
what did you think of Akira Kurosawa's final film? Which, don't get me wrong, I'm taking a risk here. This is the most unhinged movie I could have gave you for Akira Kurosawa's, like for an introduction into him. The floor is yours, my friend.
Well, as you heard, my buddy Wheels here recommended me to watch a movie called Dreams, and I can't tell you how much I absolutely fucking love this movie. And I'll tell you why.
Yes, yes,
First
I
of
was
all,
so fucking scared.
first of all, you know I'm a sucker for anthologies. So I didn't even know going in this was an anthology because I completely whenever you give me stuff, I try to shield myself 100%. So I give you the actual real legitimate reaction. I didn't know anything about this film going in at all. And real honestly, I think it probably was a good idea because like I was like, wow, this is an anthology. And then I'll be honest with you, dude, you know I love that. It's one of my favorite subgenres of film, period. And I have to say, man, I don't want to sound like James Lipton, but you know, I'll make an exception. But this film was a visual feast. It was a visual feast. I was feasting on every frame. It was very delicious. It filled me up with deliciosity. This was a visual feast, I have to tell you, my friend. But anyway, I have to say, dude, and another thing I really like about this movie is usually in anthologies, there's always stories that are kind of like better and worse. I feel like every single story in this was pretty captivating and it held my interest, and it's a long movie. Like
Oh yeah,
it's almost 2 hours long. And so I'm thinking at some point these stories are going to kind of dip. And I'll be honest with you, they're all pretty solid, man. Like, and I have to say, like, there's always something interesting to look at. There's always a tale, but there's one. The underlying theme that I took from this film, though, is the warning and the reaction of the dangers of nuclear war and abusing nature is a very big theme that I put together, and it's kind of tied through a good majority of the stories. And I had to make a note because well, I'm an old fuck and I can't remember every goddamn story, so I had to make a note of each story here. But starts out with the peach orchard. I think that's a great story. The kid in that's like just adorable, and I thought that was cool. The blizzard. I'll be honest because I knew you were going to probably ask me like, "What's your favorite story in this anthology?"
so
I
curious.
still don't know. Like, it's very hard to even kind of like narrow one down. Like, I mean, the tunnel one's really cool. Like with the ghost soldiers and shit. Like that's really fucking cool. Like I was kind of a sucker for that one. I thought that was great. Crows was cool. Like where he's going through the Van. Is that supposed to be Van Gogh? He's going through the Van Gogh paintings. That's
Yeah, that was Martin Scorsese as Vincent Van Gogh.
no, it wasn't.
That was Marty Scorsese. Yeah.
Get the
So
fuck out
that
of
was
here. It was really him.
that was Martin Scorsese. The Film Foundation was a major funder for this movie, because they couldn't. Sadly, Kurosawa could not get money at the end of his career after the career that he had. Don't get me wrong. This is a movie that is nothing like any of the other movies that he made. But he could not get money, and that's why you saw Spielberg's name in the opening credits. Spielberg put money behind it. Scorsese put money behind it. I think George Lucas put money behind it. Like the Film Foundation, like without them, that movie doesn't happen. And then yeah, Scorsese was the one who
I
played
can't
Vin,
believe that, man.
which was perfect.
But I have to say, watching it though, it made me think of another film because, like, clearly the dude had Stendhal syndrome. Are you familiar with Stendhal syndrome?
Mm.
Actually, the only reason I know what that is Argento did a movie called the Stendhal syndrome, and it's actually a real, I don't want to say disease, but like a real thing where people get so overcome by by art and the beauty of art that they feel transported into the actual picture. And I almost feel like that was his like his take on Stendhal syndrome, which that really interested me. I thought that was really kind of
Because
innovative.
it was, I mean, that's a big thing. I mean, Kurosawa, he is, I feel like it changes a lot, but then I'll watch a movie like this, and it's hard because, again, it isn't like any of his other movies, but, Seven Samurai, Kuru,
Well, I've seen Seven
Rashomon.
Samurai.
Like, have you ever, like, if you haven't seen Rashomon, that's a good place to go
I've
now.
heard of it. I've never seen that one yet.
Absolute, like, because it's grounded in reality, but then you can see like after watching Dreams, you're gonna watch Rashomon and be like, this dude has always had sort of this ephemeral nature, this fleeting ability to just capture a moment. And Kurosawa, when it comes to directors, the dude is a true artist. And that was the thing about Van Gogh, is like Van Gogh is an artist. Um, he wasn't famous, like no one knew of his work until after he was
Like
dead and,
posthumously.
and dead and long gone. Um, but his big, like, he lost himself in the work. He lost himself, and I mean, that is like the foundation of Kurosawa as a creator, is like you have to lose yourself. Like even that mountain thing. And what's funny is you said like you don't know which one
Is
it
that
was.
Mount Fuji in red? Is that the one
I
you're talking
think,
about?
well, not Mount Fuji and Red, the Mountaineers, where the Mountaineers are climbing up in the blizzard.
Oh, the Blizzard, yeah.
So that one hit me differently this time, and this kind of brings me back to when we talked about Creep Show, to where it's like you watch it and you go, I don't know which one this is, and probably every single time I watch it, something's going to hit me differently depending on where I am in life. Like in my life, like the ones that normally used to mess with me would be like the first one, like the fox, the one where the kid's out in the forest and he sees, you're not supposed to see the foxes, they get married, and then the mom is like, now you got to kill yourself.
Yeah, I was telling because ex Tina got sucked in that. She was leaving for work, and then she's sitting there, and she's like, "God damn it! Every fucking time he gives us one of these movies, I get sucked into it." And she's like, "Now I don't want to leave because, like, I was like, this is fucked up." The mom's like, "Can't let you in. They dropped this
Sorry,
fucking
hey,
dagger
sorry, the
off.
fox.
Got to kill yourself now." I'm like, "This is a little fucking kid." He's just like, "Well, shit." It's like,
But dude, that's the thing, is it's like I'll get back to the other point, but what's so beautiful is like Kurosawa writes this out of literally a dream journal, like a dream journal that he's kept his entire life, and dreams that he remembered. And it's crazy because as he's going through this, you're like seeing these things as like even stuff like that, where like, a mom get like the mom giving you guilt for going against nature because of this, like like the step on a crack, break your mother's back, except taking this seriously. Don't go out and spy on the foxes. That's when they get married. They don't want you to see them. But turns out the foxes are real, and sorry, now you have to kill yourself. But it's like these like childhood guilt, these things that follow you into your life, sort of these things that set the ground. But I was always struck by like the Peach Orchard 2, like this cry to nature. Why don't they believe that I actually am in love with nature, and why do they put me in the same category as the destructors? The Van Gogh one obviously always crushed me as like an artist and someone who just loves creating and loves film. And the last one, like the watermill one, always crushed me. Just because it to me is like the best message of just get out there and live and do what you need to do and live sustainably. Don't destroy the earth and love the people next to you. But this time around, with shit that's going on in life, like I watched it again just to kind of prepare for our conversation. And dude, the Blizzard one brought me fucking down. The Blizzard one crushed me. The Weeping Demon like had a
I
weird
was just
effect
gonna say,
on me.
dude, that was actually what I was just gonna talk about. That one actually broke me the most out of anything in
So
this
we're
film.
gonna talk to that, but I'll tell you because I really want to hear that. I'll tell you why the Blizzard one popped me, and then I'll give you back the floor. Because Kurosawa did, I never realized what that was about. I always thought it was just ambition or just this put your foot forward. but it's actually so much more than that. I'm registering it now as that's Kurosawa's way of personifying going up the creative mountain,
Mm.
following the pursuit. I made a decision to do something. God damn it, I'm going to get back to my camp. I'm going to get to the top. And I'm saying that because he did an interview at the end of his life where the interviewer was asking him about writing, and he compared writing to climbing up a mountain. He said, when you're writing and you sit down and you're starting your script, just, don't think about the end, think about what's in front of you. He said, it's like if you were climbing up a mountain. If you look at the top of the mountain as you're trying to climb up it, the tip is going to get further and further away, and you're going to get frustrated and you're going to walk
Mm.
away from it. He said, but if you look down at your feet, you look just a little bit in front of you, you're getting little victories. And sooner or later, you're going to be at the top before you even know it. And so seeing that again, it actually invigorated me creatively, which I thought was fucking sweet. But I'm curious, how did you register? What was your vibe from the Demon Weeps?
Well, I mean, not to go back, but like I didn't even make that correlation with the blizzard. But now that you say that, man, it's like strikingly obvious, and man, that makes me even appreciate that one even more. Because but wow, that's something. But
And I
one
feel
thing
it
I'll
is,
be on.
and the only reason I think I noticed that is because like I'm obsessed with him, like going through and watching interviews and just like I became so obsessed with the dude like as a creative force because
I could see why, man. Like this is
I
not going to be the first. I mean, I've seen Seven Samurai, but this won't be the first or last film I watch of his. This is
well,
just
if
going to make
you
me
want to
hunger
gut
for
punch,
more.
if you want to watch something insanely cerebral and like, oh my God, this dude is like a philosopher. This dude understands
Yeah, I
humanity.
love stuff like
Or
that. Sure,
Rashomon because it's about like interpretation
I'll
and
watch that next.
he said versus she said. But Akiru, if you want to cry like a little bitch and you want to know what it means to be alive, what it means to look life in the eye in the most absurd of moments, I cannot recommend the movie Akiru enough.
I'm interested in both. I'll have to, but like, I mean, I have to kind of be mentally prepared to get into that kind of state where I cry like a little girl with
Yeah.
a bitch,
Prepare yourself.
with a.
Give yourself like an hour. Give yourself like an hour afterwards of Akira. It's that type of
I
movie.
just ended up getting gutted watching this movie called The Friend with Bill Murray and Naomi Watts. And like, dude, I already kind of knew going in it was gonna like fuck with me emotionally. But dude, for an hour afterwards, I'm blubbering like a little girl, like with a skinned knee. I'm like, and then she's like, Tina comes and she goes, I don't know why you do this to yourself. I'm like, because it's good to feel.
Yeah,
Like
it's a release. You need to feel things, even if they're bad. Again, we're gonna bring it back to dreams. It's what the old man was talking about in the end when he's sitting there talking to him about life, and death. Who was she? Well, she was 100. She lived a great life, and she broke my heart. She was a love of
my
mine.
first love, yeah.
And then he starts laughing, and then he goes and joins a procession, and everyone's happy and celebrating. Like it's sometimes life is sad and absurd, and it makes you scared, but God damn it, is it beautiful.
It is beautiful, and I'll be honest with you. Whenever it's funny, one of those things that story at the end was so like powerful that like after the credits rolled, like I still sat there for a few minutes, kind of processing afterwards. And like I gotta say, dude, I mean, I'm very surprised at just how amazing this experiment of ours has worked out. Because like I mean, I've yet to really out of all the, I mean, we're geez, what is this episode like 15?
Yeah, we're getting up there.
And
So I'm
there's only
curious.
been one thing that I've really kind of been like, meh, and everything else I've really enjoyed. So I mean,
And it's just such a fleet, like, and I know you're kind of, it's a surreal type of movie. It's a very surreal
see,
and
I liked it though. Like I wasn't kidding when I was being James Lipton earlier. It is really a visual feast. It is I don't know no other way to put it,
yeah.
but like I mean just it's engaging and like
So
I mean
talk to me about the Demon Weep segment. You were about to go in.
that one actually, I mean, I come from a very religious background growing up, which people still think I'm a Satanist because of just how the things I look or watch or dress like, I guess. But nah, dude, that one actually really fucked with me for that reason. I mean, just watching the whole exchange between him and the demon, but then they go down to the, where they're all suffering and stuff. It really kind of dredged up a lot of like a lot of crazy feelings that I actually dealt with in therapy today. So that actually was instrumental to me talking about that kind of stuff with my therapist today. So it actually was kind of beneficial in more than one way. It's like, but yeah, it kind of freaked me out a little. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
And it was such a cool, I just feel like it's such a cool take on like the
yeah,
consequences of our
and,
actions, the
and
consequences
that's
of,
the kind of thing that's really kind of fuck with me. Like, like I mean, just to see people, or demons even like for eternity is a long time, and when you think about it in that way, like to see anybody like suffering forever like that kind of stuff always fucks with
and
me,
an
dude.
even worse episode, the line when the demon looks at him and says,
Get away.
there's a class system, there's a class system, even with
I
demons.
got one horn.
Yeah, I got one horn, but the ones with two horns, they're the ones with the ambition. They come in and they take over just like they did in the previous life, and and we devour each other. We don't eat. We don't have food. We devour each other,
Yeah, it's the class system among demons. Who would
and
have
it's
thought?
great. I mean, but even taking it outside of the afterlife, I mean, it's consequences to your actions now, and quite frankly, it's reminiscent of how we treat each other as people.
Yeah,
We're not respectful of nature, and we're sure
no,
shit not respectful of each other as human beings. We commodify each other. We use and abuse, and we don't live life peacefully, and um we don't live it in a way that isn't destructive. And I mean, it's a really cool type of movie that is actively forcing you to look at the difference between construction and destruction, which that shit's always, I mean, it's hard to do, but Kurosawa, goddamn.
absolutely, man. And I mean, for a movie to be from the '90s that is still so very, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Relatable to this time, if anything. I mean, it's probably more relatable now than it was then. So, I
Yeah.
mean, as you
Well,
said, I'm a sucker for that kind of thing too, dude. So,
it's one of those, it's an old conversation we always have. A lot of the times, the problems that we're dealing with now, we've been dealing with forever. We've been dealing with since you know, man came out of the cave and decided he saw another cave and wanted that one for himself. So he bashed some poor sap's head in and then took over that land. And it kind of goes on forever and it sucks.
and it's
And we
funny,
can
we've
do
touched
better.
on this in other episodes, but like it's still relevant to this episode. Like where you've had me watch things where I'm like, wow, I didn't realize the societal issues and things were still very relevant back in things that are at old, and like you said, that just proves your point. You just said that this kind of stuff has been going on for way beyond what I thought, and it's still relevant now, which is really sad. So I mean, everything that he was kind of warning everyone
Yeah,
about.
and a lot of the stuff that he was like, yeah, the earlier scenes were like things that he remembered from childhood, but a lot of the stuff afterwards was all very clearly informed by his experience in World War II, because Kurosawa he fought in World War II. He was on the side of the Japanese, obviously. We did Godzilla minus one a bit ago. We were talking about it even from the other end, from the Japanese side of things.
Mm.
And that very clearly was very traumatizing and forced Kurosawa to look at life very differently I mean, just the tunnel again, like it was survivor's guilt. It was like, why I went into the tunnel and I'm the only one who came out. And why am I the only one who came out? And because of my decisions and my actions, a whole bunch of people are dead. And it's not just because of war, and yeah, war is a part of it, but like he very clearly felt intense guilt for what happened. And what he did with that after that is the important part, constructing and trying to put back into the world. It's fast. Like I watch it and it's fascinating to me that that's followed up with the Van Gogh story. You would think that it would be followed up by like the nuclear reactor exploding and the demon story. And then you would think that, the Van Gogh stuff would be in, but it's cool because it's like he had that traumatizing experience. He finds art, understands the beauty in life, but then is also aware of what reality actually is, that nature isn't the thing destroying us, it's humanity. And we're one nuclear reactor away from losing humanity. We've made bad decisions and we treat people unfairly, and then we wind up in the suffering pits, and whether that's, a personification of depression and sort of these things that weigh on your brain and life, or if it is just a way of showing what consequences could be afterwards. It's fascinating how he had that, like how he put that sequentially. It's kind of fascinating because it doesn't follow this like normal have something cool make you sad, really, really sad, and then lift you up. It's like something cool, something sad, something way sadder, something cool, sad, and then something with hope. And it's like, fuck.
It's kind of masterful pacing when you think about it. I mean, and not only that, dude. I mean, you brought up a good point earlier with the whole, with the whole guilts of war. I mean, ultimately, I think the biggest takeaway for me, anyway, was even even through the hypocrisy of war. I mean, it makes you look like it doesn't matter what side you're on, where you're still ultimately human and you still ultimately feel. So, like, I mean, that was the biggest takeaway for me from that one. I mean, you take all that other stuff off the table, but ultimately, there's still casualty of war and still, deep emotions that come from such an atrocious thing. And I mean, I can't tell you enough, dude. You hit another one you hit right out of the park for me. I give this one an A plus. I would buy this film. I was telling Xtina today because I was finishing it up and I'm like, I would actually buy this. I love it so much. I would actually want this in my collection.
This is absolutely one I'm always going to recommend to have in the collection. It's a Kurosawa that isn't it goes under the radar. It's his last film. This never really is in the top conversation when it comes to like the content that he's put out. And
That's a
like
shame.
I this has a place in my heart always as the favorite. All like it strikes such a chord, and it is very clearly the type of movie that only an old man could make with a lifetime full of wisdom,
Yeah.
looking back and saying, this is my life. This is life. This is what I feel. This is what I saw. This is how I think we should treat ourselves now and in the future. And those are just such rare movies because for some reason an old filmmaker or even someone with a body of work like that, you and I just went and saw John Waters a couple weeks ago, and he's going through something similar where you have these guys who have put out such incredibly artistic and thoughtful content only to get to a point in their life where they should just be given blank checks because they have a lifetime full of wisdom and understanding, and that art will probably strike a chord greater than anything they've ever created. And for some reason, it's really, really, really hard for them to actually make the damn piece. And Kurosawa was able to make dreams, and I I especially can't imagine my life without it. I mean, that's been very formative for me as a movie and feeling and realizing how I treat people and what our obligation is to Earth.
Well, I mean, that being said, for me, dude, I really wish, the thing I love the most about this film, and I'm going to say it before we close, is I think the message tonally through the whole thing is just incredible. And I think I love the fact, I feel like we should all take a page out of Kurosawa's book. And I feel like, especially now more than ever. So, I mean, I just want to end on that. And I loved it, man. Another great recommendation. I'm always, I never end up not being surprised though, but I'm always pleasantly surprised. So, you know, until
Oh,
next
yeah.
time, I'm Balls. This is Wheels. We're the movie snobs, and make sure you go check out this double feature and make sure you get ripped first.
Yep. Love you.
Peace and love, buddy.